Allen, Anderson, Bates, Bell, Berryhill, Block, Canella, De Leon, Fuller, Gaines, Galgiani, Glazer, Hall, Hancock, Hernandez, Hertzberg, Hill, Hueso, Huff, Jackson, Latta, Leno, Leyba, Liu, McGuire, Mendoza, Mitchell, Monning, Morlock, Morrell, Wynn, Nielsen, Pan, Pavley, Roth, Runner, Stone, Vidak, Wachowski, Wolk.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. We are absent a quorum as noted by the Secretary. Would the members please come to the Senate chamber for our 9 a.m. session? All senators, please, to the Senate chamber.
Allen, Anderson, Bates, Bell, Berryhill, Block, Canella, De Leon, Fuller, Gaines, Galgiani, Glazer, Hall, Hancock, Hernandez, Hertzberg, Hill, Hueso, Huff, Jackson, Latta, Leno, Leyva, Liu, McGuire, Mendoza, Mitchell, Monning, Morlock, Morrell, Wynn, Nilsson, Pan, Pavley, Roth, Runner, Stone, Vidak, Wachowski, Wolk.
Secretary indicates that a quorum is present. Would the members and our guests beyond the rail and in the gallery please rise? We will be led in prayer this morning by our guest chaplain, Sister Libby Fernandez, the Executive Director of Loaves and Fishes. After which, please remain standing. We will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag by Senator Morlock.
In his letter from Birmingham Jail, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stated, "I have tried to make it clear that it is wrong to use immoral means to attain moral ends. But now I must affirm that it is just as wrong, or even more, to use moral means to preserve immoral ends." Today, let us pray in the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. "O God, we thank you for the fact that you have inspired men and women in all nations and in all cultures. We call you different names. Some call you Allah, some call you Elohim, some call you Jehovah, some call you Brahma, some call you the unmoved mover. But we know that these are all names for one and the same God. Grant that we will follow you and become so committed to your way and your kingdom, that we will be able to establish in our lives and in this world a brotherhood and sisterhood, that we will be able to establish here a kingdom of understanding where men and women will live together as brothers and sisters, and respect the dignity and worth of every human being, even our enemy neighbors. And we ask you, God, in these days of emotional tension, when the problems of the world are gigantic in extent and chaotic in detail, to be with us in our going out and our coming in our rising up and in our lying down, and in our moments of joy and in our moments of sorrow, until the day when there shall be no sunset and no dawn. Amen.
Ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Because I don't see my guest. Colleagues, under privileges of the floor, under privileges of the floor, under privileges of the floor, we have some mics up, but no one indicating their interest in speaking. Senator Leno, under privileges of the floor, do you have your mic up? Senator Bates, no, her mic is down. Senator Anderson.
First mic was up in the air. I do have an adjourned memory. Would this be appropriate?
Let's wait and do those
Certainly.
at the end. All right, under privileges of the floor, we will come back to those. Under messages from the governor, they will be deemed read. Messages from the assembly will be deemed read. Reports of committee will be deemed read and amendments adopted. Under motions, resolutions, and notices, Under motions, resolutions, and notices, without objection, the Senate journals for January 11th through January 15th, 2016 will be approved as corrected by the minute clerk. Senator Glazer, for what purpose, sir?
Under motions and resolutions,
Without objection.
I'd like to ask that file number A9 SJR 15 be removed from the Senate inactive file.
The desk will note. Motions and resolutions. Senator Jackson. Senator Jackson at Senator De Leon's desk.
Thank you, Madam President and members. As chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee, I rise today to bring a resolution commending our outgoing Chief Counsel, Benjamin Palmer, who is most deserving of this award and special recognition for the over 10 years he has served with great distinction in our body. And it is with deep sadness that we see him going off to the dark side, to the outside the building, where he will continue to pursue his illustrious legal career. Now, Ben hasn't traveled very far from home. In fact, he received his bachelor's degree from the University of California at Davis and his law degree from McGeorge School of Law, where he earned his Juris Doctor with distinction. He served as chief articles editor for the McGeorge Law Review and was a member of the Anthony M. Kennedy American Inn of Court. He is now a 10-year veteran of the Senate family and has contributed extensively to the legislative process in our great state, working on thousands of bills, drafting over 300 published analyses of pending California legislation, no easy task. And included among that was the groundbreaking foreclosure legislation during the financial crisis. He also, as chief counsel, helped to secure funding for the state's judicial branch, represented the state of California to visiting foreign dignitaries and international industry leaders, and has met with innumerable leaders, lobbyists, and constituents on pending litigation. He has proven to be a tenacious representative of the people of our great state and has demonstrated an extraordinary ability to find solutions to often very complicated and controversial policy questions. His commitment to the legal profession is further evidenced by his outside work, where he serves as an alumni mentor and lecturer with the Capitol Center Advisory Board. And in his private life, he enjoys, what a beautiful family, the love and support of his wife, Heather, their children, Benjamin Jr., right there in the red sweater, and Harper, who's wearing that pretty sparkly headband, and they are here with us today. Colleagues, it is with great pleasure that I provide this resolution and wishing Ben and his family well in their future endeavors and thanking him for his service to the state of California.
Congratulations, and your Senate family wishes you all the best.
To considerations of the daily file, file item 1, second reading file. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 514 with amendments.
Under Senate third reading, file item 42, file item 42. Senator Mendoza, do you wish to take up file item 42? Mr. Secretary, please read.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 91 by Senator Mendoza relative to India Republic Day.
Senator Mendoza.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, SCR 91 observed January 26th of this year as India Republic Day and marks the 66th anniversary of the day the Constitution of India was adopted. I'm asking for your support so we can send it to the Assembly and bring it back on time for the Monday, January 25th floor ceremony that we'll be having here. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator. Any debate or discussion on this item? Is there any debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen. Aye. Anderson. Aye. Bates. Aye. Bell. Aye. Berryhill. Aye. Block. Aye. Canella. Aye. De Leon. Aye. Fuller. Aye. Gaines. Aye. Galgiani. Aye. Glazer. Aye. Hall. Hancock. Aye. Hernandez. Hertzberg. Aye. Hill. Hueso. Aye. Huff. Aye. Jackson. Aye. Lada. Leno. Aye. Leba. Liu. Aye. McGuire. Aye. Mendoza. Aye. Mitchell. Aye. Monning. Aye. Morlock. Aye. Morrell. Aye. Wynn. Aye. Nilsson. Aye. Pan. Aye. Pavley. Roth. Aye. Runner. Stone. Aye. Vidak. Aye. Wachowski. Aye. Wolk. Wolk aye. Hill aye.
Please call the absent members.
Hall. Hernandez. Lada. Aye. Leba. Pavley. Runner.
Ayes 35, no 0. That resolution is adopted. Moving on to file item 43 without objection. The item will be taken up by Senator Mitchell. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Senate Resolution 53 by Senator Hall relative to Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Senator Mitchell.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Colleagues, on behalf of my colleague, Senator Hall, who is Vice Chair of the California Legislative Black Caucus, this is our opportunity today to pause for a moment and recognize the work and the accomplishments of undoubtedly an American hero. I rise today as a proud member of the Black Caucus in support of the Martin Luther King Jr. Day. January 18th, his birthday, allows us to commemorate and honor the life and accomplishments of Dr. King, who courageously fought for racial, economic, and political equality for all Americans. As a prominent leader of the civil rights movement, he played a pivotal role in ending racial segregation in the South, as well as contributing to the creation of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. As we've talked about on this very floor, on the 50th anniversary of both of those courageous acts of Congress, many of us who are serving in public office today would not be here if it were not for the courage of Dr. King and so many who fought long and hard that battle. One of his most remarkable accomplishments that defined his legacy before he was assassinated was his final role as an anti-poverty crusader. After the legal battle was won, Dr. King strove to raise awareness about structural barriers facing the poor, including access to adequate health services, a quality education, decent housing, and a clean environment. During his now famous Poor People's Campaign of 1968, Dr. King stated, permission to read, Madam President?
Without objection.
Thank you, and I quote, "The time has come for an all-out war against poverty. The rich nations must use their vast resources of wealth to develop the underdeveloped, school the unschooled, and feed the unfed. Ultimately, a great nation is a compassionate nation. No individual or nation can be great if it does not have the concern for the least of these. His vision and legacy of economic, environmental, and social justice continues today. You see it in the determination of those who advocate on behalf of comprehensive and fair policy reforms rooted in equity, and you hear it in the stories of those who walk these very halls, still fighting for advancement within underprivileged communities. It's also evident, in my opinion, in the Black Lives Matter movement and the Black Minds Matter movement, the modern-day version of the civil rights movement that affirms the notion that all lives deserve humanity, regardless of their gender, class, sexual orientation, or color of their skin. The Black Lives Matter movement has picked up the baton of civil rights activists before them and has breathed new life into the legacy of the Black liberation that Dr. King valiantly dedicated his life to. I'm proud to add my voice to those of my colleagues who I'm sure will rise in support of Dr. King's legacy and hopefully this resolution. And I'm honored that Dr. King's commitment to disenfranchised, impoverished, and underserved communities to be a commitment that California continues to seek to advance. I hope that we will all join in that commitment and celebrate Dr. King's great dream of vibrant, multiracial nation united in justice, peace, and reconciliation. And that we don't just talk those principles one day a year in January when we have the day off or the day of service, but that we live it every day in our communities as well as here in the halls of the Senate. Senator Hall has gifted to all of you an amazing book that we hope that you will read and perhaps pass on to a local library or school kids in your district of wonderful quotes and wonderful images of the life of Dr. King, the life of the struggle, and the life of a movement. On behalf of myself and Senator Hall and members of the California Legislative Black Caucus, we ask for your support of SR 53, the resolution commemorating the birth of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. I ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Senator Mitchell. Debate or discussion? Senator Fuller, followed by Senator Block.